Welcome to this week's edition of The Link. We promise that we give you information you can use, and The Link is a place for opportunities. Tonight we're discussing the African Growth and Opportunities Act, AGOA. Some people think, is that thing still alive? But you're going to be surprised. It's still alive, and there are people who are benefiting from it. Tonight my guest is Miss Agnes Kitumba, who is the CEO, Seco Design, and an exporter to the US via AGOA. Agnes, welcome.
Thank you so much, Sam.
Briefly, people would like to know, what does Seco Designs do? Tell us briefly what you do.
Seco Designs is a fashion brand house that manufactures and exports into the US using the AGOA Trade Act. Okay. We mainly employ women, and that's the fact that we're a social enterprise. We are full profit, but we also want to give back through empowering women through economic, financial, and education opportunities. All right.
So you do shoes?
Yes. Bags, clothes, jewelry, and recently we began coffee.
How comes you are succeeding to export under AGOA? I mean, people thought that that thing doesn't exist. Or what is it? Now, you're exporting under AGOA. Tell us, how are you succeeding?
So AGOA is a trade preference between the American government and the Ugandan government. Okay. In fact, not only Ugandan, sub-Saharan Africa. Yeah. So it's one treaty that lets manufacturers and exporters export into the United States market duty-free. And as Seco Designs, we tapped into that opportunity. Okay. Because under AGOA, we have close to 6,400 items that can be exported into the American market. So AGOA is not government. AGOA is not Susan Mohwezi, though she heads it. Yes. AGOA is an act that any exporter, any eligible, are you having good quality items? Do they meet the American standard? You can export through AGOA into the US duty-free.
Okay. People have heard of AGOA, and it's a law. It's an act that enables African countries to export to the US. But moving on from being enabled to export to actually export is a different animal. Yeah. How did Seco succeed to take advantage of this law or act to export to the US? Paint for us a picture.
Of course, there were lots of trials and errors. Fails were so much. One was to understand, what did we want as a company? From scratch, we knew that we wanted to make an item and export it into the US. And from 2009 to 2011, we used to pay duty, and it was heavily on us until when we met Madame Susan Mohwezi, who introduced us to the AGOA Act, and it opened new doors for Seco. The other thing is we understood the market. What does the American customer want, and which American customer did we want to target? We wanted to target the American middle class woman. And we asked ourselves, what does she need? She needs a high-end bag, a high-end product or shoe with a story. America is at a place where they are consciously buying. They want to know, if we buy your product, what is it doing in your country? That is the social impact. Okay. Then also the quality.
Quality, yeah. Tell me about quality.
Sometimes you look at our UG products and you want to cry. A bag is made today and it rips or it breaks down before even you reach home. And that is something Ugandans want to promote in the US. It cannot work that way. We come from a culture where your mom or your dad, your relative, used to buy a shoe, it's broken, and they say, we'll take it to the cobbler, and they fix it. But you're buying it. So that culture mindset of poor quality products being accepted cannot work there. So we shoot for high end. Our products last. Our shoe doesn't break. And it's the fact that we stand and boldly proclaim our products, knowing that we've hit the quality that the American woman or buyer is looking at.
How do you make sure of the market? Okay, you already said we even have a mindset issue. How do you, from Seco's experience, how do you make sure the quality is exactly what is needed in the market?
It starts with the raw materials. I'll borrow an example from our coffee growers. Growing up, I would see coffee beans being harvested in the dust. Yes. You cannot make good coffee from that. Same thing goes back to our products that we produce. What kind of cotton fabric are you buying to make that dress for the American market? What kind of leather are you buying? We reached a point that we no longer buy Ugandan leather to make our bags and shoes.
Because it's not here.
It's not even good quality. We are importing our leather from India, Turkey, Ethiopia, though their customs were strict, so we moved to Italy. And so it goes back to the raw materials that entrepreneurs or exporters are putting into their manufacturing process. Garbage in, garbage out. Simple as that.
Okay. Challenges, and I don't like asking about challenges, but in this case, people need to know what you're dealing with. Even if the act enables you, you need to know that this is what I'm going to face. Fortunately for the viewers, they will see that Seko has already been there, so maybe they don't have to go through the same sequences that Seko went through. Tell us, Agnes, what are some of the key challenges that you faced or face, and yet you are able to still continue to export to the US?
One of the key challenges is consistent quality. You really need to keep on top of your game because the refund policy in America is high. You can refund a product and end up even refunding the money. So you have triple loss. That is one. Another challenge is the importing taxes. Uganda has less of good quality raw materials that can make an item to ship back.
For instance, for you is in leather.
Yes. We have the cows, but we don't have a tannery that is producing high-end leather. So you find that when I'm importing leather from India, that is a 53% import tax.
I know it's protection against Uganda's leather, which is poor quality.
Which we don't even have. Yes, then also the fashion, the industry that we are dealing in the US has a lot of dynamics. It's very fast-paced. You sleep knowing pink is trending, you wake up, it's dark blue. As an entrepreneur in Uganda, where I have, in some states, 10 hours up front, Portland, it's 11 hours, New York, how are you keeping up with all this fast-paced country to make sure that you're marketing and you're selling? So there are lots of challenges that we are facing. We have less government support. Sometimes even the government is not so sure of what we are making. They don't even believe in what we are producing. I got the chance to meet His Excellency, the President, in 2014. When he looked at my shoe, he said it can't be made here. So we need government to come back and know what is our country capable of and can they stand in and support. You
mentioned something about pink is on in vogue now, and then the next season is off. For you, Agnes, how do you make sure you know these things?
So for the first 4 years, to be honest, it was a challenge. I would go to Magoba Arcade, Chiembe, pick a chitenji that Agnes really likes, only to ship 500 pieces of something and they flop. They don't sell at all. So we learned from those mistakes, and we hired an American specifically to let us know what is trending. We had also to learn from the simple economics that we learned, that a demand versus supply. So we asked ourselves, what does the US market require? They have seasons. In Uganda, it is summer, spring, winter, fall in one day. In the US, they have summer, spring, fall, winter. And what sells in summer does not sell in winter. So we know that, and we plan ahead of the year, knowing that we have 6 months of selling summer, winter, and then move over to another season that needs different shades and styles. When we began with sandals, they could not sell in fall because they were sandals. So we had to introduce bags, introduce clothes. So it's very dynamic, and you have to move with the flow to be able to keep up.
Is it worth the money, all that effort?
It's worth. As a company, we began by only exporting in a year, maybe $100,000 a year, to where before COVID, we were able to do $800,000 worth of products being shipped duty-free into the US.
And you said duty-free, finally, as we're concluding. How does AGOA, as an act, make it easier for you as a company? Now that you have fixed your back-end issues of quality and the front-end issues of the market, in the middle there's an act. How does its existence make life easy for you? What are some of the areas where they have been softened simply because of the act?
Any trader will tell you that when you get that call and your clearing agent is telling you that goods are at Busia, Malaba, Entebbe,
Yeah.
the first thing that your heart will pump so fast will be like the invoice that versus the taxes. But AGOA has softened our shipping into the US, that I'm not scared of the POs. If I have a client saying I need 1 million pairs of shoes of this, I only worry about quality and raw materials, getting them to the US, apart from also freight, which is a bit high. I don't worry about that clearing agent telling me that your tax invoice into the US is this much dollars. So the volumes are able to grow because you're exporting into the US duty free.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, people, we need clarity from you who has practiced. AGOA, do you pay tax when you are getting goods to the US? We need to get that clarity.
We do not pay tax when we are getting our goods into the US. As long as the goods follow into the 6,000 items that the American government okayed.
Yes.
So it is upon them to reach out to the AGOA Country Response Office, which is on Workers House. They are well equipped to help you go through these steps and understand what do you need as an exporter into the US. The bad thing is that as Ugandans, we want to jump some steps. You've seen Agnes has been exporting for 10 years and you want the next day to be exporting $1 million in the US. No, there are steps. So once you're patient enough to walk the journey, then you can get there. But the act is there. I want to tell all Ugandans that want to export, please use the country office and you will be able to get all the help you need.
Right. Thank you very much, Agnes Kitumba, CEO Seco Design. Viewers, our time is not enough. I wanted to ask her more questions, but we've tried our best for her to share an experience of exporting to the US market. And in case you have such aspirations, AGOA, still the current one, still has 2 years to go. There are negotiations to try to push it forward. It's possible to export to the US, but it's not the same thing as exporting to Kenya and Tanzania. It's a different ball game. So if you have the skin, give it a shot. Go to the AGOA country office here at the Workers House, and they'll give you information. Get the info fast before you start sinking money into export. We hope we added value to you. This is a place for opportunities. That was the link. Thank you for joining us tonight.